Yeah, Taylen, Coach Petrino was talking about, he mentioned in the spring a little bit, but just working on making sure you're using all your 6'6" over over the um, higher throwing motion, not squatting down stuff. How's that working out for you? You ever feel like you revert back to some of those tendencies, and how things going in that regard?
I feel like he does a great job, in Indy of concentrating on those, the fundamentals. And he always like tells us that, it starts with, footwork and with me, he's saying don't throw at 6'3", be 6'6" and use like all of my frame to throw. So I mean, since just the warm ups, he he tells me every single time when I don't do it and just making it a habit. And that's what, I'm strict on myself and, on the fundamentals.
You mentioned the other day there's been a route or a play that you kind of struggled with, and he asked you later, like, name your top 12 plays you want to run in practice, and this play, whatever it was at the top of the list. I was curious about what it was that you were struggling with, and how you feel like you're doing with it.
It was just like just learning the timing and just how to throw it, and just the different coverages that goes with it. And when I struggle with something, it bugs me a lot, and that's what it's practice is for. Honing in on your weaknesses and building your weaknesses and honing on the strengths too. So that's what when he calls that play, I'm like, okay, it's game time, and I feel like he does a great job of, watching film, drawing it up, and it's just on myself to execute that, and that's what I'm really hard on myself, and that's what I'm planning on do this week and week and a half that I have.
Malachi, what were your thoughts when Coach Petrino was hired, and how would you say camp or training camp has gone for you so far?
When he was hired, I was excited just of all the past quarterbacks he's been able to coach that had a similar play style to myself, and just excited to get to work with him every day and work with these quarterbacks. They come to work every single day, and there's not a day I don't learn something from them. And just from camp so far, I feel like I've played pretty good. There's a lot of stuff I could do better. Just decision making wise, throwing the ball a little better, and but other than that, I think it's been pretty good.
What do you want to see in the scrimmage Saturday, Thursday? What do you guys want to be better at offensively for both y'all, please?
I would say, continue what we did on starting fast, in the scrimmage and, being aggressive and finishing strong. I feel like, in the first scrimmage we didn't finish and just being mentally and physically, a little bit fatigued, but having that endurance and having that mental toughness to finish.
For both of you, maybe Taylen start, Malachi elaborate. Just working with Coach Petrino, just how important are just the attention to details with him?
His attention to detail and everything, whether we, you know, and walkthroughs and we have like a blitz period and he's on us even then, whether it's a walkthrough, whether it's full speed, whether it's Indy, whether it's 11 on 11, he doesn't miss, a rep, and that's what we like, as quarterbacks and as offense that, every single thing we do, because we touch the ball every single play and we have that, responsibility. He doesn't like shy away from that. He keeps us, aware of that every single time.
Like he just wants us to know everything that's going on in the play, whether it's like the fronts, what the linebackers are doing, what the safeties are doing, corners alignment. And we just took a test on fronts and stuff like that. So he'll give us stuff like that because he just wants us to know it like the back of our hand. And I really like that.
Malachi, what about you with the scrimmage coming up? What are you looking to get out of it? And is there any in particular things you're wanting to improve from, this past scrimmage?
Um, like Taylen was saying, just finishing strong, making sure my decision making is on point, and just be good on third down with protection checks and just getting the ball out of my hand.
And for both of you, a name that keeps getting brought up when we ask about the other receivers other than the top guys is Monte Harrison. I'm curious what y'all's impressions of him have been, and are you surprised that a guy that's been out for 10 years has been as productive as he has?
Mhm.
Absolutely. I mean, he's huge. He's about 6'3", 225, 230. He's fast. He has really good hands. He can make any catch in the book. He runs good routes. So I mean, just having him out there, you could tell he's a little rusty, you know, just coming from baseball, but he's gonna be a really good piece for us this year for sure.
I'll say one thing that, you know, sticks out to me is just his motor. You know, anything that the coaches ask him to do, he doesn't say no. Like he's out there. You know, he had one of the biggest, like the largest player loads in the scrimmage. And, you know, that just speaks volumes. You know, he said, bro, I was tired, but you couldn't really you can really tell, you know, he was running full speed, doing all the routes, all special teams, you know. So that's what really stood out the most to me.
Malachi, Coach Pittman, Coach Petrino, Taylen, they've all talked about how receptive you've been to, practices and asking questions. How big of an emphasis has that been for you, and where do you feel you've kind of grown the most since, fall camp has begun?
It's been huge. Just, having to learn a new offense, it is always hard at first, and you just want to ask as much questions, get as much information as you can, so you could be on point when you get out on the field. Personally, Taylen has done a great job. I ask him all the time. Just on the field talking ball. What did you do on this? What did you do on that? And he's been really helping me on that. And just in the meeting room, I always ask questions. What are we doing on this? What are we doing on that? What's the check for this? Just so I'm on point in all perspectives.
Taylen,
Appreciate it.
Taylen, a lot of the offense in the first scrimmage, like a lot of the main receivers and running backs weren't able to play. I guess working with like maybe a different group of people in the scrimmage, kind of taking a more productive role. What was that experience like?
I felt like, especially in the receiver room, they they rose up to the opportunity. They saw this opportunity to showcase what they have, and I feel like they did a great job of that. Whether it's Zay and his versatility that he showed. Dozier had a really big day. Monte, CJ, a freshman, but stand out. I know y'all saw that one hand catch that he had. It was crazy. So just the different opportunities that they have, whether it's different positions, Tesla, going inside, outside. So it's definitely cool to see.
How about Petrino end of the day? Does he live up to the hype y'all heard about coming in?
Oh, for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Way more. Way
Yeah.
more.
Appreciate you, fellas.
How is the offensive line coming along? Coach Petrino was saying in the spring, the defensive line was just ahead, just because it's such a good unit. But how have they progressed in protecting?
I would say each day they come in, prepared. We have like a new either like protection or a run scheme, and they're on it. They're making their calls, and that's what I'm mostly proud of them, that they come to work every single day. Like they come, I'll say like professionals, and if they don't know, they'll ask a question, right off the bat, whether it's in walkthrough or whether it's after their time. So just that unit there is just the communication and just the brotherhood that they show. I mean, even with the coaching staff, to players, it's really amazing.
Is it difficult to like transition practice to game when like that you're not going to get hit versus, and you've been there, but you haven't been there in college really. And what advice might you have for him, for when that happens? Because it's got to change your mindset a little bit. At any time, you could take a shot.
I would say, of course, it's a little different. But every single rep, Petrino always says, treat it like a game, and practice is, to figure out, what types of throws you can make, what types of runs you can make, and just figuring that out. In the game, you're not really thinking, you're just, going. You repped it so many times, That's why I would say to Malachi, in practice, if you're struggling with something, do some mental walkthroughs or things like that, or just stay after with your receivers and rep it so many times. So in the game, you're not thinking, you're just reacting, and that's what I feel like. We came to play. It's just we've been playing football since we yay high. So just don't even really think about it and just go ball. At the end of the day.
Does that get you going at all? Like taking a hit or delivering a hit, or would you prefer to stay clean?
I would prefer if I juke somebody out, that gets me going. I'm like, oh, then I normally have like my teammates like saying something. So that normally gets me going.
Y'all both said that Coach Petrino has lived up to the hype and more. How is it? What's the hype and how's he more than the hype?
He's really just so smart. Like, if you just had one meeting with him for, an hour and a half, 2 hours, he would really show you just how smart he is. He knows so much ball. He's coached in the NFL, college. So he's been around so much, worked with so many different quarterbacks. So, um, just like the reps, the knowledge he has, um, it's just been great. It's been out of this world, really.
Any thoughts there?
I would say he has an answer to the test. Any questions that you got that we got, he has the answers like that. Just doesn't wait. He'll pull up clips of, pull up 2009. I'm like, and it's that exact play, exact play, and we're like, wow. So I mean, any questions that we have, or any questions that a receiver has or a tight end has, he has the answers, and we have full trust in him, and we do it, and it works. So that's what I love.
We saw a pick today. What was the learning point? I think Miguel Mitchell stepped in front of Ty. What was the learning point on that play?
So it was a 6-man protection. They had brought somebody extra off the edge, so I was just trying to get it out quick. Ended up not seeing them, so really just honing into my progressions, going 1 to 2 to 3, just being smart with the ball as well.
And finally, Coach Petrino said that this is the part of camp where he wants you guys to be aggressive, like find out if that window could be opened. And so he's not that worried about interceptions. Do you feel that in what you're seeing in practice?
There's a balance to it. Of course, you got to be aggressive, but you can't throw like a ball that's not open, and that's what he's really big about. Of course, you got to figure out, but you got to also take care of the ball. You can't be reckless with it, and if it's not there, make the football play and check the ball down, or we're both dual threat quarterbacks, so the best play could be running it, and just the different situations that he puts us in. We had backed up today, and he was like, "Why didn't you, run the ball?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay, I got it." And because we do a good job of 4-minute offense, 2-minute offense, so just the different situations. That's what I love, and in practice that we have.
You guys been verbalizing your goals, saying what you want out loud? They talked to you about that?
We actually wrote them down.
We actually, yeah, we
actually
had to
wrote 'em
turn
down.
them
We
in
had to turn 'em in.
yesterday.
Did you ever have that concept brought to you before?
So we had to do like goals, 3 goals for the week. Then we had to do our obstacles and what the obstacle is. Then we had to do what's our solution and what we're gonna do. So probably at the end of the week we're gonna see if we got it.
What do y'all think about that? Do you like it? You think it's something, I mean, you wrote it down on a piece of paper, so it's something you can always reference.
Yeah, I personally like it because I mean he knows what we can like what we want to work on, what we see, and of course what he thinks we have to work on. So I mean it's a both like player to coach, relationship, and he's gonna hold us accountable, and shout out to Miles, he's definitely gonna hold us accountable too. So yeah.
Last one, Match.
Taylen, we've seen Amarian Harris working at guard the last couple of days. He's 6'7". It's kind of big for a guard. I'm just curious. I mean, you're 6'6". Is that even a factor? Like, do you have to count for that, or just how's that with him at guard?
He's been doing an amazing job, just stepping in that role, just knowing what to do, and doesn't complain. He's really gritty, and he's just doing a great job of whatever the coach, the technique and the coaches tell him to do, he does it with no questions asked, and that's what I really like.
Well, great job.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate y'all.